And now, please welcome 2024 Event and Selection Committee Chair, Gene Augsburger.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the greatest show in Florida. We are so happy to have you guys here today, and doesn't this place look amazing? It's amazing. PRI and the FCEE team, but we'll recognize them in a little while. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Hall of Fame program. Please take your seats. You're already doing that. Enjoy your salads. Today's event is hosted by the Florida Council on Economic Education and honors 4 remarkable visionaries in our community. Eric Green, Jack Hanania, Joe Henrich, and Ari Jolly. Their achievements elevate our community and inspire all of us. It's such an honor to see all of you here today, such a tremendous group of business leaders in support of these outstanding inductees. This afternoon, I invite you to step right up and witness business brilliance take center stage and reach new heights. So, my friends, let the celebration begin. The annual Hall of Fame event gives us an opportunity to reflect on the legacy of the First Coast area business community. The men and women recognized have built and continue to build a major metropolitan area. Along the way, we have earned a reputation as a place to innovate, create a business, connect with the community, and raise a family. The Hall of Fame Selection Committee accepts nominees from all around the First Coast area: Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Baker, and Nassau counties. The selection process for the Hall of Fame is intensive. You can't just apply for induction. Today's inductees were chosen for their character, civic involvement, and of course, business success. Each candidate must exhibit all 3 qualifications in order to be considered. Prospective members must be nominated and then approved by a committee made up of Hall of Fame honorees. These Hall of Fame members convene once a year to discuss the candidates at length and then vote by secret ballot. I would like to acknowledge those members who have participated in this year's selection committee and thank them for being part of this process. It's not an easy job, and your thoughtfulness is greatly appreciated. Today we have a special opportunity for Hall of Fame members, and we know we have several of you in the room. Starting today, Hall of Fame members only can join Business Legends, a unique opportunity to connect and collaborate and create in exclusive venues with other Hall of Fame members. Kind of like a boys club, but with girls. It's our roundtable, and we all know the value of having roundtables made up of our fellow inductees. As a legend, you'll enjoy many special recognitions in the Hall of Fame event, discounts on table sponsorships at the next year's event, and events in exclusive venues in the coming year. With Florida's personal finance course mandate, the need for resources and teacher support is greater than ever. By becoming a legend and contributing an additional $1,000 annually, members directly help the Florida Council on Economic Education reach over 3,000 additional students in our region each year. I call on my fellow Hall of Fame members and thank those who have already joined, our founding members, to join us today in shaping the future by becoming a legend. You can find more information about the program on page 12 of your program and here with a QR code. So thank you to all of the legends. The 2024 class joins a prestigious group of over 100 business leaders inducted into over the 26 years through this long-standing tradition. Some of us here some of us here today, and some others we respectfully remember. This year, we lost 2 Hall of Fame members near and dear to many of us, David Stein, class of 2007, and Bill Mason, class of 2000. Both men embodied the 3 pillars of what it means to be a Hall of Fame member: strength of character, business success, and probably the greatest quality of all, community involvement. These 2 individuals understood how important supporting the community was. They exemplified it in their overwhelming generosity to healthcare, education, religious institutions, and the arts. Today, I invite all of you to honor these great leaders by following in their footsteps. As noted in Bill's obituary, when you see a need, get involved. When you see a problem, be part of the solution. Be an example of servant leadership. And that starts with your support and participation here today. We are so proud to have been part of David and Bill's lives, and we continue our program, and we know as we continue our program, we know that they would be proud to be followed by these inductees and community leaders today. A little later, you will hear about the generosity of our 4 inductees and the impact they have made on the region. But first, a little side note. 2 years ago, I was honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And back then, you knew me as Jean Miller. But now, I'm Jean Augsburger. About 18 months ago, I married Mark Augsburger. As a cancer doctor, Mark impacts lives every day. And he has had an incredible impact on my life. He was here 2 years ago, and he's here today. I love you, honey. Thank you. Yes. He's awesome. There are numerous other businesses and individuals who also have had a great impact on us and on our community, many of whom have signed on as sponsors for this afternoon's event. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge them now and thank them for their generosity and strong belief in this vital mission. Our presenting sponsors: Drummond Press, Florida Blue, Hanania Automotive Group, Marine Repair Services Container Service Corporation, and Raymond James. That's right. And our platinum sponsor, Jacksport. Thank you, Jacksport. Our media sponsor is the Jacksonville Daily Record. Thank you. Karen. Thank you. Our gold sponsors: Beaver Street Fisheries, CSX, Instructure, the FSCJ Foundation, and Florida Supermarkets Charities. We would also like to thank the corporate tables, sponsors for today's event. They can be found on this slide, as well as on the back page of your program. And now we're going to learn a little more about the important work of the FCEE from the extraordinary Executive Director, Suzanne Costanza.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here today. Your work really impacts the lives of so many teachers and students throughout the First Coast and throughout the state. So we really appreciate everyone's support this afternoon. Thank you to Jean, and on behalf of the entire network of the Florida Council on Economic Education, I'd like to express my appreciation for all of you. Today, especially, I'd like to acknowledge we have with us our FCEE board chair, Sally Forsyth. She is with Koch, Florida, and we appreciate that she came all the way up from St. Petersburg to be with us for this afternoon's luncheon. Yeah. The FCEE was founded on the idea that by investing in the knowledge and the know-how of educators, our students, and ultimately the state as a whole, will benefit for years to come. In the last 10 years, the FCEE and our partners in education, including the Center for Economic and Financial Education at FSCJ, have provided over 150,000 hours of instruction at no cost to the teachers that we serve. This year, we're on track to provide an additional 6,000 hours of instruction to local teachers. That's a 63% increase over services provided last year. The need is great. Over the lifetime of their careers, each teacher trained will impact literally thousands of students, providing them with a vital skill set and knowledge to thrive in our ever-changing global economy. The FCE was born from great leaders like the ones we're celebrating here today. They recognized the need for their employees to learn economics before graduating high school. 2025 even marks the 50th anniversary of our work within the state of Florida. And after many ups and downs, we can now proudly say that Florida is leading the nation as one of the only handful of states that require both a standalone course in personal finance and economics before graduation. Yeah. And although we are statewide, the FCE understands that education has to start on a local level. That's why we partner with and support 5 centers for economic and financial education. This year alone, 90,000 students in our state are taking that course in personal finance. It will change their entire life. That can be a daunting process for teachers who have not taught the course before and for the districts who haven't had to offer it. Thankfully, though, through our network of affiliates, there is assistance and support provided at no cost. Here with us today is the FSCJ Center Director, Neil Schreiber. Neil, there we go. Thank you, Neil. Through Neil's work, he is serving hundreds each year at his local campus with exciting programs like Empowering You, Strategies for Teaching Smart Money Decisions, and Financial Freedom, Planning for Higher Education. Neil's providing real-world context for teachers and students across the First Coast region. The FCE thanks you, Neil, for all that you do to support the community. Thousands of educators like Neil statewide are paving the way for the next generation of young adults to have a deeper understanding of their finances and the role that they play in the greater economy. I would ask you to take a moment and think about this past hurricane season, how it uprooted lives, disrupted businesses, and left so many Floridians scrambling to recover. Now, imagine if more of us were financially prepared for those challenges. Personal finance education is a game changer for families and communities. It gives us the tools to save for emergencies, to understand insurance policies, and rebuild our lives without drowning in debt. When we know how to manage our money, we're not just surviving after a storm. We're bouncing back stronger and faster, and that makes a huge difference for everyone around us. But personal finance isn't just about individual households. A financially prepared Florida is a resilient Florida. When we know how to navigate disaster assistance programs, budget wisely, and avoid financial pitfalls, our entire economy benefits. Local businesses can stay afloat, jobs stick around, and we keep the neighborhoods thriving. By investing in personal finance education, we're not just helping ourselves, we're making sure Florida stays strong and open for business, no matter what Mother Nature throws our way. As you know by now, our mission depends on events and programs like the First Coast Business Hall of Fame to provide a continuity of services. Each year, the need for support grows even greater. It is my hope that you have heard something here today that might compel you to support the mission of the Florida Council and the teachers that we serve. On your table and on the screen behind me is a QR code, one that directly links back to our donation page. I hope you all will consider contributing to our efforts and encourage you to take the time at lunch to do so. On behalf of the entire FCE team, our statewide board of directors, hundreds of educator partners, I thank you so much for being here with us today. Congratulations to the new Hall of Fame class of 2024, and I invite you to enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to enjoy your dessert as we resume our program. Now to begin our induction ceremony, we welcome Event Chair Jean Augsburger back to the stage.
All right, hopefully you've enjoyed your lunches. So, when we opened the doors today for this event, we had raised over $170,000 for the education of our students. So thank you all so much for that. As you probably have noticed, there are QR codes all over the place, and as well as on your table. So it's truly, truly amazing that we've raised $170,000, but I know we can do better. In a room full of business leaders, the work of the Florida Council is incredibly important to all of us. We must have a financially educated workforce and population that understands how to manage money so that they can be productive employees, responsible consumers, wise investors, and good citizens. As an entrepreneur and attorney serving businesses and organizations throughout the state of Florida, I have witnessed firsthand the importance of a financially educated population. Sarah, one of my fantastic daughters, is here today, and she will soon graduate from the University of North Florida. Yay! But she didn't have access to the personal financial education in high school. Fortunately, she's had access to a lot of those courses in business school and marketing school at UNF. But not every student has access to business programs or even to college. So you've heard of the great work of the council in teaching teachers to be skilled, effective, compassionate economic educators. And they create innovative programs and resources to provide students with lessons that are meaningful and fun in the classrooms. And all of this is free of charge to the school districts. But they need our help to continue. So your gift matters. And I know, as most of you know if you know me, I have worked in a lot of sectors in this community, right? I've worked in a lot of them. And I know that we can reach $200,000 today. I've seen you do it in other venues. I've seen you do it at other events. So I know what you're capable of. I know that when you set your heart, they're having a great time in there. I know that when you set your heart and your wallet to something, magic truly happens. So please take a moment to scan the QR code on your tables and donate online. Our goal is to raise over $200,000 today. And just as a side note, because I'm slightly competitive with our other region that does this, Tampa, if we reach this goal today, then our region will have reached $1 million in the last 7 years. $1 million for this region. And that's better than Tampa. So we can do it. We can. We appreciate your consideration of this appeal as we continue to train teachers and deliver these critical programs throughout the First Coast and in Florida. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, we are now ready to welcome the newest members of the First Coast Business Hall of Fame class of 2024. Our first inductee this afternoon is Eric Green. Eric is the CEO of JAXPORT, the man literally steering JAXPORT into the future with a $1 billion splash of innovation, investment, and strategic partnerships. As the visionary behind Jacksonville's Harbor Deepening Project, Eric has turned bold ideas into a nationally groundbreaking reality, literally, bringing over $420 million in public and private funding to create a port that is ready for tomorrow. To help us get to know Eric a little better, please help me welcome to the stage his dear friends and Hall of Fame members from the class of 2018 and 2023, John Falconetti and Andra Wallace.
Thank you. Gosh, it's so exciting to be here today, and I am thrilled to continue to support this amazing organization. And what they do for our youth and for our communities is extraordinary. I encourage you to continue to be generous. You'll also note that the applause continues to crescendo the closer we get to welcoming Eric Green to the stage. Now, my friend Audra Wallace will share with you some thoughts also about the man, about the husband, about the extraordinary faith and professionalism of Eric Green. I'm going to take an opportunity to tell you a story, to pull back the curtain a little bit as I enjoyed a front row seat watching Eric Green not only achieve a professional milestone, but helped put Jacksonville, Florida on the world stage in terms of the maritime industry. Dialing back about 20 years ago, the Panama Canal was going through an extraordinary widening. That widening led to ships being designed all across the world of a size and a scope that never had been imagined, not to mention being built. These ships were so large that there were ports up and down the east and west coast that could no longer compete. The ships could literally not fit into the harbors, they could not fit into the infrastructure, and Jacksonville was at a moment in time, either we were going to be relegated to a secondary position, or we need to double down, triple down, and institute what ended up being a 15-year strategy. Over 15 years, Eric Green personally spearheaded this strategy, developed the strategy where we could put in better, stronger, larger bulkheads, where we could fix navigational hazards, not to mention the epic deepening of our harbor to 47 feet. Fast forward 15 years later, this success, and along the roads, Eric had a tremendous team. Susie Wiles, Daniel Davis, Lenny Curry, Rick Scott, the line goes on, and this humble man will look to that team. But what I tell you today, and what I tell you, Eric, is that we followed you. Your vision. Jacksonville will continue to benefit for thousands and thousands of new jobs because of the relentless determination and success from Eric Green. Eric, it's a pleasure to be up here, and I cede the microphone to my friend Audra.
When I talk about my big brother, Eric Green, it's complete humility and confidence from that standpoint. And I'm gonna harp on the confidence, and I'm gonna embarrass his wife for a quick second because that's his heart and soul. Eric first met his wife. She's on a different date. He goes over and introduces himself, totally disconcerts the other person that's there. That's how you know that he's the right person to lead our port, because that brother has complete confidence in everything that he does. And I love him 100% for that. I know I wasn't supposed to tell that story, brother, but you my dude, man. So I got to tell that story. But he's all about family from that standpoint. He, huge family, that's his heart and soul. Everything that he does is with regards to his family. He truly embodies what his mother and father instilled in him. You gotta understand, that is embodied from Jacksonville. He's a Ribault High School graduate. He's the first person of color that is the CEO of Jacksport, and probably the only person in the entire United States. And that comes out of Jacksonville, Florida. And that's my friend, my man. So come on up, there's nothing else I need to say, because we all look up to you, man. And this community does too. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, brother.
gotta have something to have to live. I want you to have joy, because can't nobody take that from you. I see you. Smile.
Wow. What an honor. I want to thank Jeannie for being this year's event chair. Also, my two good friends, Andra and John. Congratulations to Joe, Jack, and Ari. A special thank you to our board members, Dan Bean and Sue Gilvari, for allowing me to lead such an amazing organization. To John Falconetti and Dr. Newman, I will be forever grateful to each of you for giving me the opportunity in 2017 to lead such an awesome organization. To my team, thank you for your patience, dedication, and creativity every day. Your hard work has truly made a difference. Maritime Industry Leader Vince Marino, the International Longshoremen's Association South Atlantic and Gulf President Alan Robb, Beaver Street Fisheries, the Ferentino Group, Instructure, Allied Universal Security Services, and all of the port partners here for all you do to support JAXPORT growth. And certainly, the most important person in my life, April. She is the VIP, Hall of Famer, and rock for our family. Your unconditional love has helped to shape the man I am today. Thank you, and I love you. Being a native of Jacksonville, there's a special sense of pride when I think about all the JAXPORT team has accomplished since I became CEO 7 years ago. What we do at the port directly impacts many of the people I grew up with, including my family members and childhood friends. The same people who growing up, we didn't know what we wanted to be or who we wanted to become. They are what motivates me to work hard to build up this city and this port. Our port is an economic engine for Jacksonville. The work we do has a real impact on the quality of life for the people here, providing high-paying jobs that raise people up, that build families up. When you grow up in an underserved community, being able to provide a quality of life for your friends and neighbors is the ultimate definition of success. It also gives you a special appreciation for the difference that education can make. The type of education the council provides. It lifts communities up. Education is a cause near to our family. So much so, 2 years ago, April decided to go back to school and get a second degree. 3 of our kids are educators in the Duval County Public School System. We know the challenges they face, including lack of resources. I am grateful that organizations like the Council on Economic Education exist to help bridge the resource gap and produce more Eric Greens. Thank you, First Coast Business Hall of Fame, for this honor and the work you do to provide financial literacy for future generations. May God bless.
Congratulations, Eric. Congratulations. Man, hard to follow that. Our second inductee this afternoon is Jack Hanania. Founder and CEO of Hanania Auto Group. Jack's just the local guy who sold his first car in 1983 and now drives a 16 dealership empire across the Southeast. With a motto of think global, act local, he's invested in Jacksonville and building Jacksonville up, as well as revving up the auto industry. both of which he has taken to new heights. To give us a little more background on Jack, please welcome to the stage Jack's sons, Jack Jr. and Mark Hanania.
Good morning, or good afternoon. It was morning when I wrote this. My name is Mark Hanania, and I'm Jack and Debbie's youngest son. I work in the family business as general manager at our Infinity location, and there's a very important reason why I'm here today. You can lease a brand new Infinity for $5.99 a month. If you want to know about all of my dad's great business accomplishments, you could open up your program and read. However, I'd like to share something that not only is he inducted today into the First Coast Hall of Fame, but also the Greatest Dad Hall of Fame. And here's why. My dad was never a professional sports coach or a life coach, but I sure think he is one. Just in general, not only coaching me, my brother Jack, our cousins, but our 1,000 employees as well. He coaches in numerous different ways. 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, he's right. He teaches people how to lead by example instead of just saying it. Hard work, determination, think local, act global. Always teaching people to be honest and work their hardest. I've seen you stay at the dealership until midnight, even though you don't have to, it's because you want to. And for that, I want to tell you that you've built a legacy that will outlast any building or business. You've shown all of us that hard work and integrity or treating people the right way are key components to success. Thank you for being not only a great businessman, but an even better father, a mentor and friend to so many. I think you're ready to retire now, right? I want to introduce my brother, Jack.
Well, he's quite the comedian. I taught you well. Good afternoon. My name is Jack Hanania Jr. I am the oldest son of Jack and Debbie Hanania, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. First off, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2024. You should be very, very proud, and it's an extraordinary award, so congratulations. You know, I can stand up here and I can talk for hours about all of the accomplishments that my dad has done over the years and how he's built his business. I can talk about how we have some of the highest performing and top dealerships in the entire nation right here in Jacksonville, Florida, and about how he's made so many people go up the ranks and advance their careers. But today, I want to talk about not only what type of father he is, not only what kind of husband he is, but what kind of man he is. My father, he gives everything to everybody. And when he goes and he has something on his mind, he really, really goes all in. There's 3 main things that I want to say about my dad today. The first is his unconditional love for his family. It's pure, it's genuine, and it's tough. When he's been through in our life as a young kid and seen what he's been through, when he's put every single thing that he's ever worked for on the table and bet on himself, bet on his family, and bet on his team and his people to build what he's had, it's truly remarkable. And as a second generation, and you see somebody like that, and you see it from a young age, and the struggles and the adversity that him and my mom have had to go through to build something, it makes you want to take it to the next step. And my brother and I are so excited to be able to continue our legacy here in Jacksonville and to grow as a private company and to be one of the pillars of Jacksonville. The second thing my dad does extremely well that I want to touch on is hard work. His motto, Jack, Mark, be the first one there, be the last one to leave, work like hell, and if you're going to do something, dominate it. And that's exactly what he's done. The last thing I want to talk about is respect. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Respect and be humble. And with all of those things, mixed with how much of a faith he has, his religious faith, I got to tell you, if I could be half the father, half the husband, and half the man he is, I'll be the luckiest guy in the world. I'm blessed. I'm fortunate to have the unbelievable parents that I do. And Dad, I want to thank you. We want to thank you for letting us chase our dreams. And now I think it's time for you to come up and talk about how you've lived yours out. So come on to this stage.
It was a beautiful day, sun beat down. I had the radio on, I was driving. Trees went by, me and Dale were singing a little runaway. I was flying, yeah, running down the dream. Come to me, working this going wherever it leads, running down the dream. I felt so good, like anything
Oh
was
my
possible.
gosh. These speakers, I'm glad I was second. I don't want to be the last one because I'd have to throw this away and just. I got to tell you a little secret. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I've been written up twice. And I think they're looking for a way to get me out. So it might be a ride up here before the day's over with and I may have to retire, but not quite yet. I'm in it for the long haul. First, I want to thank the selection committee for selecting me. I'm honored and humbled to be here today. I also want to congratulate Ari, Joe, and Eric on your inductee. Congratulations. Second, I want to thank the most important person in this room, and that's my wife, Debbie. I love you. We've been together for 34 years, and we've had a hell of a ride. We made a lot of memories. We have a beautiful family. And the most important thing, we have our health, and we have one of the finest group of teammates in our organization that I've ever, I don't deserve them. They're awesome. 850 team members that takes care of our clients every day, sometimes 24 hours a day. I want to thank Joe Kiemeyer. Joe's been with me for 33 years. Joe came on board as a technician, became one of the best technicians in America for Acura and Honda. And today, Joe is our engineer maintenance for all of our dealership. Thank you, Joe. I couldn't have done it without your support. I also want to thank John Keister. John started with us parking cars at the Acura dealership, picking up customers' cars, washing cars on the wash rack. 24 years later, he's now oversees our parts and our service department for all of our dealerships. Thank you very much. We sell a car, the first one on the front end in sales, but the second and the third is sold through the service department. And thank you for all you've done, John. And I can go on, but I just gonna just mention one more person, because there's a lot, I don't have enough time to be up here, but Deborah Cantor. Deborah, I've known Deborah for 34 years. She runs Miami Acura in South Florida. It's one of the most competitive market in America, top 5 biggest city in market shares in cars in Miami. When I went down there and met Mr. Ron Esserman, he owned both dealerships. He called me the day before. He says, "Come on down here, I'd like to talk to you." And I went down there and met Mr. Esserman, and he goes, I own 2 Acura stores. I'd like to sell you one of them. And I said, "Why me?" He goes, "I know you'll take care of the customers and you'll be a great competitor." So I said, "Well, I'm honored, thank you." I called Deborah Cantor. She was working up in Fort Lauderdale. I said, "Deborah, I need you to Miami." That was 12 years ago when we bought it, and she's been with me, and she does a fantastic job at Miami Acura. Thank you, Deborah, and glad to have you up here today for Miami. And I can go on, but like I said, time, I don't have enough time, but let me share with you about my background a little bit. In 1983, I'm in class at Florida State College, and I'm trying to become an accountant. What's so funny about that? And I'm in class, and there's about 6 of us that grew up together, went to school together, high school, and worked together. We're in class, and we got carried away a little bit with the conversation. And the instructor came to us and said, "You 6 need to leave my room." What? It was a gut-wrenching. So we left the class, and I'm thinking like, did I get kicked out of the class? What's going on? So I go to the counselor the next day, and I said, "Our instructor asked me to leave the class." And he goes, "Well, let me be crystal clear with you. He kicked you out of the class." And I go, "Okay." He goes, "You have to drop the class." And I'm going, "Oh my gosh, really?" He goes, "Yep, you're not going back, and you're going to have to drop the class." So at that point, my car, a 1972 Buick Century, if you remember that they looked like the Monte Carlos, was on its last leg. And so now I'm knee-deep in loans. I got kicked out of the class. I dropped the semester. I don't have a car. Go home, and I'm looking through the paper, and I see this little ad that says Honda salespeople. If you sell 10 cars a month, you get a demonstrator. So I go and apply at the local Honda dealership, and I get the job. And the carrot was the demonstrator, wasn't the money. I had to get the car first, then money follows. So I said, "When can I get my car?" He goes, "When you sell 10 cars. I started on a Thursday, and on Sunday night at 10 o'clock, I sold my 10th car. Monday morning, I go into the manager's office, and I sold 10 cars. He goes, "No, you didn't." He starts checking. "Yeah, you did. Go pick your car out." So I got my demonstrator, and then I got paid back then was $2,000 for the month. Not for the week, for the month. I'm in hog heaven. I got money for CJ's, Nichols Beer. Got an apartment that I could pay for. I got a car. Hey, the life is beautiful. Mr. Coggin heard about me and recruited me over to his company. And I started working with Mr. Coggin running the Acura dealership on Blanding Boulevard. In 1992, I became a minority partner. In 1998, Mr. Coggin decided to sell the company. I approached him and asked him if he'd allow me to buy the rest of the stocks in that company, and he agreed to do so. I said, but I got one small problem. I need financing. He goes, I'm going to make it clear. If I sell you the store and you're 3 days late, I will foreclose on you. Do you understand that? I said, yes, sir, loud and clear. And I owe Mr. Coggin, he was my mentor. I owe him all what we've accomplished because he was a great mentor. He was a great man. And he was an unbelievable inspiration to me. So in 1998, we go to the closing table and we're buying this dealership, and I'm signing paperwork, and I handed it to my wife to sign along with me. And the paperwork says, you know, you put your first child up for, and everything. And Debbie is about halfway through, and she goes, how are we going to pay for all this? I said, just please keep signing. We got to go. We'll talk about it. How are we going to pay for this, Jack? I'm serious. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. I'm going to work like hell. That's all I can tell you. But keep signing. And today, with the support of this wonderful community, we're up to 16 dealerships, 3 collision centers, 850 team members. And I honestly assure you, they're the best in the business. And I don't mean that just to say that. I mean, I got some fine men and women that go out of their way to pick up and do the extra steps for our guests. And I could assure you that my phone number and my email address is on all 16 dealerships' website. I'm very easy to get hold of. And I might get 1 or 2 phone calls a year, maybe that. So we do talk about think global and act local. And we do discuss the local market in Jacksonville. This is where it starts. During COVID, we couldn't expand. Things were very expensive. So we went ahead and bought some properties, buildings downtown to help inspire downtown. We have 3 buildings. The first one was the Dial Up Church on the corner of Bay and Main. It's the first high-rise in Jacksonville after the Great Fire. The second one's the Landon Trust Building right behind the hotel here. And the last one was the Steinmart Building, where I now work out of. And we're expanding the team members. We're bringing more team members to the building. And it's this community and the people in this room that helped me grow. And I care about Jacksonville now. The thing we need to work on as business leaders is that when our young men and women graduate from high school, they go off to college. And I get around America a lot, go to different meetings. I meet people from Jacksonville in key positions in different part of the automobile business world that I'm familiar with. And we as business leaders need to continue to do our job to bring them back home. Because a strong talent is a strong community. And a strong downtown is a strong business environment for our people to come home. And I promise you I'm going to do my best, and my boys and the team members, 850, to bring as many towns back to Jacksonville. Thank you very much for having me here, and God bless Jacksonville.
Truly a Hopetown hero. Thank you, Jack. Congratulations. Our third inductee this afternoon is an engineer turned CEO accelerating CSX with a sharp focus on culture, teamwork, and safety. After 30 years in the automotive industry with a track record for driving growth and innovation at Ford Motor Company and others, he's now driving CSX into a leading transformative force in the transportation industry, one CSX initiative at a time. Here to share a little bit more about Joe Henrich is his former crisis manager from the Bush administration and CSX Board of Trustee member, David Moffett.
Good afternoon. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce the next recipient, Joe Heinrich, our CEO and president of CSX Corporation. Joe joined CSX a little over 2 years ago, and he hailed from Michigan and was running a massive piece of Ford Motor Company. In just this short period of time, Joe has had a profound impact on the people, culture, and operating performance of CSX, as well as the rail industry, the large and small communities in which our employees live, including the headquarters city of Jacksonville. Joe is an incredible leader, and his presence has made all of us a better steward of the great company we call CSX. At Ford, among many responsibilities, Joe oversaw the assembly of hundreds of thousands of cars and trucks. But what Joe saw was not cars or the assembly line. No, he saw the people that manufactured the cars and the trucks. And that's what Joe sees today at CSX, the people. When Joe arrived in September of 2022, he set out first and foremost to meet the teams of people scattered throughout the eastern part of the United States and hear their experience of working on the railroad. From there sprang a new culture that we call One CSX, a focus on the people who deliver service for our customers. The focus on meeting the customer's expectations and not our own was the rallying cry that put all the employees on the same page. The CSX One culture instilled a sense of pride in our people's work and their mission. Alongside this focus on customers came the dual responsibility of safety and a culture where we all look out for one another and ensure that we are serving the customer, but we're staying safe at the same time. The service continued to improve, the workforce became more unified in our mission, and the company began to meet our customers' expectations once again. Joe quickly emerged as a thought leader in the rail industry, engaging in industry issues with his fellow CEOs, the regulators, and the government officials throughout the East to help build a better CSX, but more importantly, a better industry, demonstrating a commitment to its employees, their safety, and the people who ship their goods on our trains. Joe challenged all the CSX employees to become active in their communities in which they live. He encouraged and challenged them to be leaders and to be a voice for helping and supporting their fellow citizens. As I stated earlier, one of the pillars of One CSX is pride in everything we do. But pride was not enough for Joe. He wanted all the employees to honor the rich history, the traditions, and the lineage of CSX. CSX is a company that is a product of many railroads, combined into one consolidated Eastern Railroad over the course of almost 200 years. Those railroads had rich traditions that they celebrated with pride. Those traditions had been lost and forgotten over time. Joe reinstituted many of these traditions, including the Santa train and the holiday celebrations with family and community. In addition, Joe wanted to establish a visible and lasting tribute to these former railroads, and as a result, Joe directed that a locomotive be painted in the original name and the colors of the predecessor railroads. In his way, Joe honored all the present and past employees of the predecessor railroads that made up CSX today. In conclusion, Joe is a visionary, a compassionate leader of people and communities, and a man of grit and determination to make things better wherever he engages. And it is these attributes that he brought to CSX, Jacksonville, and Florida. Thank you. Joe, come up.
Please welcome to the stage Joe Heinrichs.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling all right. Now, John at the bar.
Well, thank you, David, and thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to congratulate Eric, Jack, and Ari, and everyone who's been a part of the Hall of Fame all these years. 26 years is a long time. I want to start by saying that none of us are up here by ourselves. As you've heard from both Eric and Jack, all of us are here representing our collective teams, our families, our friends, our co-workers. I actually have the blessing of being here with my wife, Maria. Jack, we've been 34 years married as well, so we must have all we got married in 1990, at least we did, I think that's right. And 8 states, Canada, China, we've been all over the world, but we now call Jacksonville home. We're proud to do that. My youngest daughter, Sarah, who's an engineer at Ford, is actually here as well. She came down from Detroit last night, and we're excited to have her. Actually, our oldest daughter, Anna, and her husband are both doctors here in Jacksonville. They moved here in July, and she's expecting our first grandchild. She'll be born in Jacksonville in March. So, exciting opportunity. Our son's in Michigan, but we'll hopefully see him this Thanksgiving. I bring all that together because, I'm just a representative of the whole Heinrichs family and everything that we do together. David mentioned I was an outsider. I was not part of the rail industry. I was a customer for many decades, and as a customer, I knew that the railroads could do better. It could be better at serving our customers, could be better at helping the economic vitality of this country. Having lived in China and Canada and traveled the world, I knew that our freight rail system in North America is the envy of the rest of the world. We kind of take it for granted, and in many cases, our companies were doing the same thing. So we had an opportunity to challenge ourselves. The good thing is we have so many wonderful people. I'm joined here at the table over here, the CSX table, by so many of my colleagues. And what I found when I came to CSX is just so much talent that have been through a lot, frankly. And we've been able to bring that talent together to serve our customers through a culture we call One CSX, to create an environment where people can be successful. I want to thank David, Steve Halverson, who's on our board, who's also a part of this Hall of Fame, and all of the board members of CSX who had the courage for the first time in nearly 200 years to bring an outsider in. I was retired. I was happy. I retired as president of Ford Motor Company almost 5 years ago now. We were happy. But there was something about the CSX opportunity that was compelling, that was enough to be interesting to come back. And frankly, Jacksonville was part of that attraction. Having lived in so many other places that are a lot colder than here, it's a nice opportunity to finally get a chance to live in Florida. But I want to go back to the purpose of why we're here and want to thank FCE and everything that they do. When you think, I've lived in Detroit and Chicago and Boston and Shanghai and Toronto and Jacksonville and all these places around the world, everything starts with economic development and education. When you think about the vitality of cities, communities, First Coast. And we have the opportunity here through the education of our young children and our growing close to adult high school age children to teach them skills that are so important. And then we have the opportunity by the work we do together through economic development, through the community service, through education to create a First Coast, create a Northeast Florida that we can all be proud of. There's so much potential here. We know at CSX that we're the largest public company headquartered in Jacksonville, one of the largest in Florida, and that we have an honor and a privilege to hold that position, and we have a responsibility to be leaders in the community. And we take that very seriously, and so many of our team members are a part of this community in so many different ways. We want to lead by example. When I got here, we had one member of our leadership team, Nathan, who's here tonight. He was retiring at the end of the year. Nathan, thank you so much. Who was an Alexis de Tocqueville member of United Way. Now every single vice president and above, 30-some people at CSX are Alexis de Tocqueville members of United Way. It's one of the many things that we do, thank you. One of the many things that we do to lead by example, whether it's SMOSH or the University of Florida Graduate School or all the other programs that we're a part of, we know we need to lead by example. And we'll continue to challenge everyone else in this room and elsewhere to do the same. Because when the business community comes together, especially the leaders of our business community, with the community organizations, with government, and with education, cities can thrive. And there's so much potential of this downtown, there's so much potential of this First Coast. So while we may be Hall of Fame members, what we want to do is create a Hall of Fame city. We want to create an economic vitality and growth that we have the potential to do because we have a lot of benefits being here in Florida and being where we're located. And I'll challenge each one of you to join us in that mission, that we have a privilege and honor to serve in these positions, and it's all about servant leadership. It was a great quote you threw up there in the beginning. You got to be part of the solution, and you have to serve others, because that's what leadership is all about. When we can help other people be successful, then we'll be successful. Whether it's in a dealership, spent a lot of time in the auto industry, still love cars, own more than my wife wants me to own. And at the end of the day, we create the opportunity for so many people to be successful when we work together as one team, and that's where we go back to One CSX. We've been fighting as a railroad industry with our employees since the beginning. If you go back and look at history, first union in America was the Railroad Union in 1861, Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers in Cleveland, Ohio, during the Civil War. We have a Labor Day holiday because of an 1894 strike of Pullman Rail Car Company, and the National Guard was sent in and people were killed, and the public outcry led to the Labor Day holiday. So we go back a long ways of fighting, and there's no need for it. Just like communities, we don't need to fight. We don't need to work against each other. We need to work with each other to serve our customers, to serve our citizens, to serve society. And I'll leave you with this. One of the fascinating and awesome things about being a part of a railroad is that when we run better, the economy runs better, society runs better, it's safer, it's better for the environment, it's lower cost for both customers and taxpayers, and everybody wins. And that's the challenge we give our teammates every day. 23,000 railroaders across 26 states. How can we bring all of that to life? So thank you for the opportunity. But I will tell you, Darnell and Larry and I, as we're talking about this, I've only been here a little over 2 years. I promise you we have a lot more to do, and we will do to bring this to life. And we're just getting started at CSX. Thank you, appreciate it.
Congratulations, Joe. So our final inductee is certainly not, well, we've saved the best for last, I'll just say. With all due respect, gentlemen, Ari Jolly is expert counsel for Guidewell and Florida Blue. Known as a powerhouse attorney, Navy veteran, and community leader whose career has navigated everything from boardrooms to battleships. Ari's legal expertise at Guidewell and her influence across Jacksonville's civic landscape has proven there's no challenge she won't tackle. To introduce Ari, please welcome to the stage 2014 Hall of Fame member and Guidewell Florida Blue CEO, Pat Garrity.
Good afternoon, everyone. And Ari is hitting cleanup. So congratulations to Eric and Jack and Joe. Ari Jolly is a force of nature. Let's face it, if you don't know Ari, where have you been? Just look across the things she's done in the community, and it is so impressive. But whether it's her commitment to her family, her nation, her community, or her company, Ari is somebody who's committed to honor, commitment, love, and loyalty. And her life has demonstrated that throughout. This is somebody who was born in Germany, lived 10 years in Iran before the revolution, as she reminded me. But then our good fortune is her family relocated to Jacksonville, Florida. And in Jacksonville, she saw so much opportunity, and she wanted to give back to our country. And so she joined the Navy as a naval officer. And she was, again, a force of nature. Ari is just a little bit competitive. And so she went to jump school. And she did the jumps for a week, and then there was an opportunity to stay on. And the Marines that were in her group decided to pass. Not Ari. She got her gold leaf, right, Ari? And she's proud to this day that she beat the Marines. That's the force of nature we're talking about here. But her first love is her family. And it's amazing, there's a constant theme here. Ari and John have been married 34 years. Yes, you can clap for that. Now, I told John I wouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They've been together 42 years. It took him 8 years to ask her to marry him. He's been paying the price for that ever since. Ari has 2 wonderful children, Chandler and Jack, and they are wonderful kids. That whole family, they're all lawyers. Can you imagine the dinner table? And Chandler is married to Matt, also a lawyer. So they have lots of debates that go on in the family, but there is so much love, and it's so obvious, the love that holds them as a family. And Ari brings that to everything that she does. If you look at her community involvement, from the chamber to JTA to the JU's Public Policy Institute, to the Cultural Council, all of these things, Ari doesn't just get involved. Ari has been on the board and chaired every one of those organizations. This is somebody with a little bit of ambition. She knows how to make impact. If she's going to give her time, she's going to give her time all out and make a difference. So most of us who know Ari know all of the professional things and know all the accomplishments in the business place. And I will tell you that we've been on this incredible ride at Guidewell Florida Blue. Some of you know some of that story. I won't bore you with it. But I'll tell you that just a few years ago, we were an $8 billion business doing business only in Florida. Today we do business in 50 states, and we're a $32 billion business. We have quadrupled the company, and Ari is the attorney responsible for mergers and acquisitions and new product, and she has been amazing at her work in creating Guidewell in the first place and helping us expand in so many ways. So she has been just a remarkable force within our organization. But we all know the professional piece, so I sat down with Ari and I said, give me a piece of some of the really good stuff, some of the behind the scenes stuff. And she says, well, let me put it this way. Give people the advice that you should always put your glasses on when you text. So that's Ari's advice. When you hear that, you say there's something behind that story. And so I'll just share two that I can share. One was texting somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning because she's traveling in a different time zone that says, miss you, honey. It wasn't the right recipient. So imagine getting that text at 3 in the morning. Her sister and her have this little code between each other that if they've had a really bad day, they take a big old bubble bath because it's been a lousy day. And the way they communicate to each other is they text a picture in the bubble bath. Think about where that might have gone without glasses. She can tell you the rest of the story later. I will just leave it by saying Ari is an incredibly accomplished individual, but the accomplishment that ranks above all is her family, her wonderful children, her great relationship with John. She is truly amazing, a force of nature. Ari Jolly, come on up here and join.
Please welcome to the stage, Ari Jolly.
I may have overshared with Pat just a little bit. Thank you, Pat. I am incredibly grateful for you and for your kind and entertaining remarks. I'm also incredibly grateful to join the class of Joe, Jack, and Eric. I don't know if you guys know, but Joe, Jack, and Eric are amazing supporters of our veterans. They hire a lot of our veteran community, and as a veteran, I'm incredibly grateful for what you do for them. Thank you so much. You know, I just recently celebrated my 30th year with Florida Blue. That is a long time to be with one company. But 30 years ago, I hit the jackpot when Florida Blue hired me while I was 6 months pregnant with my daughter Chandler. And for the last 3 decades, I have had the absolute best job ever. I have loved seeing this great company grow and touch so many lives in such a powerful way. And without a doubt, my contributions to the causes that mean so much to me was made possible by Florida Blue's commitment to community, not only in the quality of the services and the products that they provide, but also in Florida Blue's support of me and so many others to be fully engaged community champions. Florida Blue has never wavered in giving me the time so that I may serve the organizations that have a profound impact on our community. And if I may, I'd like to use this time to tell you a little bit about the power and impact of these organizations. The JTA. I have had the privilege of serving on the JTA board for going on 10 years and seeing Nat Ford transform this agency to new levels of excellence. In that time, the JTA has transformed the La Villa neighborhood, completed road projects that have made our neighborhoods safer, secured hundreds of millions of federal grants to support the Emerald Trail and the autonomous vehicle initiatives. That, on top of the Wellness on Wheels buses that brought COVID vaccination, stroke awareness, and opioid education to underserved neighborhoods. And the JTA provides free buses to students of all ages, all year round, so parents don't have to face that choice between getting their kids to school or making it to work on time. Thank you, Nat. The Chamber. We are so fortunate to have Danielle Davis and Andre Wallace at the helm of this powerful economic development engine. The Chamber's team works tirelessly to connect businesses with one another, to assist many first-time entrepreneurs with enhanced business skills, and to increase economic growth by attracting companies to locate here. Just recently, the Chamber, the JTA, our elected officials, and our mayor succeeded in bringing a large international car manufacturer to our city. That means jobs, economic growth, and we most certainly couldn't have done that without Jack's support, so thank you, Eric. The Cultural Council. Diana Donovan and her team have transformed the Cultural Council in just a few short years and brought meaningful and much-needed public art to underserved neighborhoods. They have also secured substantial increases for grants to cultural service organizations. These nonprofits, in turn, enrich our artistic and cultural landscape and have a profound economic impact on their surroundings and those they employ. And they also provide many services for at-risk kids that find refuge and hope in creative artistic expressions and opportunities. Just last week, we celebrated a new public art project at the Legends Community Center. It was amazing to me to see local neighborhood residents look at this digital display, a 19-minute digital display of the local legends of the North Side, artists, activists, athletes. For 19 minutes every night, that digital display will show up on the face of the Legends Community Center. And our hope is that it'll inspire new generations to reach greatness. The JU Public Policy Institute. Over 10 years ago, the visionary dynamic duo of Rick Mullaney and President Tim Kost established a Center of Excellence at JU. The Institute established the first Master's in Public Policy degree and brought together other multiple dual degree programs. The Institute's television commentary has gone from local to national to international on law, politics, and public policy issues. And the Institute has appeared more than 100 times on television and radio and has hosted over 120 public policy on-campus events. As importantly, especially now, the Institute inspires and models decent, respectful, and insightful dialogue of public policies and political developments that impact us all. As a side note, I had the privilege and pleasure of traveling with Rick Mullaney and his wife this past May. We were on a highway, off some highway in Italy, and eating something when a group of people came up and said, "Are you Rick Mullaney?" This is in Italy. But his presence on TV and his commentary certainly have brought a lot of richness to the political debate. Fleet Landing. This amazing continued care retirement community was originally founded by naval officers for naval officers and their families, but it has evolved into one of the most sought-after CCRCs in the country. Under the leadership of Josh Ashby, the Fleet Landing campus has seen its expansion to allow for elegant, independent living homes and a campus that many of the residents describe as a first-class cruise ship that never leaves port. It has entertainment, amazing dining, and activities. And just to tease you, there's more to come at Nocatee. When I reflect on my path as chair and leader of the boards I have been privileged to lead, I am reminded of the profound truth that leadership is, at its core, about collaboration, purpose, and shared vision, and must be for the betterment of others, for building stronger communities, for creating opportunities, and to ensure that voices are heard. I have had the privilege of working alongside some of the most passionate, talented, and selfless individuals. People who dedicate their lives to making our community better, healthier, more beautiful, and accessible. To those leaders, their teams, and amazing employees, and to my colleagues and fellow board members, I share this honor with you. Thank you, Pat, Nat, Daniel, Diana, Rick, Tim, and Josh. Working with you has enriched my life and brought me great joy. I so appreciate you. And above all, I am thankful every day for the love and support of my family. My husband, John, my daughter, Chandler, and my son, Jack. As much as I hit the employment jackpot with Florida Blue, I hit the partner, friend, love, and marriage jackpot with my husband. Thank you for the wonderful life that we have made. To use an old movie line, you do complete me, you always have. And thank you for the best two gifts, our two children, although I had something to do with that as well. Chandler and Jack, you are and have always been a dream come true. I am so proud not only of your achievements, but of the decent, kind, and respectful people that you are. It is expected that parents love their children, but it is such a gift to like and respect them. And Chandler, thank you for my awesome son-in-law, Matt Silverstein. After I extracted him from the jaws of another, I am so happy that you brought him into our family. So, Matt and Chandler, my only ask of you now is that you will gift me with some grandchildren. I am not getting any younger, and for that matter, neither are you, so chop chop. Lastly but not least, thank you to the Florida Council on Economic Education. What you do is so important and so needed. I recall as a young naval officer working with gifted young men and women in my squadron, but I would see many of them in my office because of financial challenges and complications, often due to a lack of basic financial literacy. So please help me in supporting this vital organization and its mission. Tolkien said that all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. So let's continue to make a difference. Thank you.
Amazing, Ari. Congratulations. So once again, congratulations to the class of 2024. This year, I've been honored to chair this event, the First Coast Business Hall of Fame, and to be the Master of Ceremonies today. And I've been delighted to work with the FCEE team. They are extraordinary. And let me tell you, with two major hurricanes hitting Tampa, They have no office, but they have been extraordinary throughout all of this. So please give them a hand. Suzanne, her leadership. And I'm so excited to see all of the contributions coming in. You are making a difference. Thank you so much. And to close us out now, I'd like to ask Suzanne Costanza to come one more time.
Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you to all of our Hall of Fame members here in attendance. Thank you to all of our guests who joined us this afternoon. We're so grateful for your support and your time that you've given to us. On behalf of the Florida Council on Economic Education, I'd like to welcome the new First Coast Business Hall of Fame members. In keeping with our tradition for the last 26 years, we're going to introduce you to all Hall of Fame members who are with us this afternoon, ending with our newest class. So I'm going to ask all Hall of Fame members, as I call your name, to please come join us on stage so we can take our class photo. And to get started, I should need my script. Pardon me. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with the class of 2010, Ron Autry. Ron. Class of 2011, Cleve Warren. Class of 2014, Pat Garrity. Class of 2015, Doug Bear. Class of 2016, Darnell Smith. Class of 2018, John Falconetti and Nat Ford. Class of 2019, Debbie Buckland. Class of 2020, here we go, Karen Mathis. Class of 2022, our esteemed event chair, Gina Augsburger, Ray Driver, and Eric Mann. Class of 2023, Andre Wallace. And finally, your newest class of Hall of Fame inductees, class of 2024, Eric Green, Jack Hanania, Joe Henricks, and Ari Jolly. Can we give them a round of applause? And Daniel Davis, pardon me, class of 2020, Daniel Davis. My apologies. All right, please join me in a salute to the First Coast Business Hall of Fame. We thank you all for your leadership, dedication, and service, and the wonderful example you're setting for leaders of tomorrow. And that's a wrap. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you again to our chair, Jean, and our sponsors and donors, and the volunteers who gave so generously of their time. We look forward to seeing everyone in 2025. Thank you.